All right, so welcome back to my podcast. Today, I want to talk about solving a security problem, and I'm going to address the issue of the economic crisis. So, this is a continuation of my discussions on solving our food problem. Solving our security problem. I've talked about solving our food problem. Now I'm talking about solving our security problem. So, if you want to follow up some of the discussions, you can check the previous episodes that I have on this podcast. All right, so let's look at what actually is going on. So, we've been talking about solving our security problem, and it's time that we start taking it seriously. Africa is sitting on a powder keg. We all know that. And the drum of war and social unrest are growing louder every day. Even though things look simmering, or it's like everything is like not so much problem and all that. But hmm, things are really going on. Things are happening in many parts of our continent, in many countries. Look at what is going on in Sudan, in South Sudan, in Congo, between Rwanda and Congo, in many parts of Africa, even in Ethiopia, Eritrea. You also come down to the southern Africa, you see also what is going on in Mozambique and some of these other countries, right? So a lot is going on, internal conflicts, issues, and all that. But apart from that, we know the general problem that the entire continent is even facing, that has become a major menace, is the economic problem. And we know that can push people to the wall, and it can just plunge the country into another serious war again, right? So because people are not settled, people are not happy, people are hungry, they are frustrated, like people are just not satisfied with the kind of life they are living. Yeah. And an angry person can just spark into very serious behavior that be like, what's going on, when somebody's angry. Yeah. So very important, we need to address our economic problems to solve our security problem. Because the economy actually have a direct effect on our security, as we're gonna see, or we already know. Now we are losing too much to insecurity, both in human lives and natural resources. People are dying every day, and our mineral wealth is being plundered. In Nigeria alone, for example, over 2 million people were kidnapped in one single year. Can you imagine that? Just in 1 year, over 2 million people were kidnapped. And guess what? More than 2.2 trillion naira was paid as ransom. Can you imagine that amount of money that was paid as ransom, just ransom, not even something else? This is not like the economy, the budget of a country. This is just paying ransom to criminals, to kidnappers, right? 2.2 trillion naira. I mean, when you think about it, it's like, what is really going on? And the background of this insecurity, part of the major background, causes problems, is this economic crisis that we have on our continent. And I'm just using Nigeria as an example, but we know a lot of all these problems are happening in many of our countries. This insecurity, which is traceable to economic crisis, right? That investigation was done by the National Bureau of Investigation in Nigeria. These numbers are staggering and heartbreaking. Crime is spreading like wildfire across our countries and the continent. Now, the truth is, much of this insecurity is fueled by economic crisis. When people are not economically free, crime becomes a survival strategy. So, if we want to solve our security problem, we must solve our economic challenges. That's right. The root of our economic crisis is our lack of productivity. That is the main thing. Lack of productivity, whether it is intentional or not intentional, the main problem is we are not productive as a continent, as a nation. We are not productive. We are not economically productive. That's why we are into the economic crisis. Our economy is not working because we consume far more than we produce. It's a known fact. Like more than 80% of what we consume in Africa is being imported. Like, can you imagine that more than 80% of what we consume is being imported? These are not lame people, they are not dead people, they are not crippled people. These are able, agile men and women on the continent. And it's not as if our people are lazy, it's not as if they don't want to work. It's just because the system is not making them work or is not conducive enough for them to work. We're gonna see what is going on. Hmm. We face skyrocketing inflation, rampant unemployment, unchecked corruption, and a dangerous lack of value creation. We must return to the fundamentals. This is where we need to start from. Investing heavily in the production of our basic needs and revitalizing the primary sectors of our economy. Too many people dream only of office jobs or government work, yet we remain a developing continent with undeveloped systems. This means we must urgently focus on grassroots economic activities like farming, fishing, mining, construction, food processing, and manufacturing. These are the engines that can drive the real change. You see, when you look at the economic development of any nation and every nation that have developed, what you see is there there are four major tiers of or levels of economic development. You see the primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary, and sometimes you have the fifth level. But the first level is the primary, where you have like the basic level of economy, where you focus on basic needs, solving your basic needs, food, production, farming, fishing, mining, doing those basic things, right? So you cannot just jump into the fifth or the fourth level of economic activity when you have not even settled the primary level. You see, and that's the issue that we have in Africa. We are jumping on the fourth level, fifth level when we have not even solved the basic level. We've not even solved our food problem. We've not solved our water problem. We've not solved our security problem yet. We're doing AI. We're doing what they call a smart door, smart house. We're like, what nonsense is this? Like, you're building smart house in cities where most people in that country are they can't even hit 1 square meal in a day. When there's still so much poverty in the land, when there's still so much people who cannot even afford basic things. How does that even make sense? How does it make sense? You're building smart house. We're buying luxuries, buying expensive cars. The latest car today now, somebody has bought it in, for example, say Nigeria. They bought the latest car. I'm not saying some people will not be rich in anywhere you are, but I'm saying like the gap is just too much. It is just way too much, and that is a recipe for disaster. I've talked about this over and over again on my podcast. Like, we cannot have too much gap between the rich and the poor and expect things to go well and expect harmony in that country. No, it is not possible. And it's just going to be a matter of time that those people are going to revolt and they're going to plunge the country again into poverty. Because you think, oh, you have everything, for you, everything is settled, everything is okay, or you're enjoying your life. Wait until the people that are not enjoying their life start coming to disturb you and just burn down all the things that you think you have. You see, we must bridge in that gap. We must close the gap. The gap is just too much between the rich and the poor on the continent. So when we have the primary level, where you focus on farming, you focus on fishing, you focus on mining, like basic production of your needs, that's where we need to start from in Africa. Like, everybody must have the farm. Everybody must be involved in food production, whether you're directly involved or you're indirectly involved, our focus must be on food production. Even developed nations are doing that, let alone we that we have not even saved food that will take us 1 year, let alone 10 years. We have not even saved food that will take us 1 month. Can you imagine that? You see, there's no food security, there's no food safety, there's like we're just like living like maybe not to say animals, but that's how it looks. Because even animals are even saving their own food. We are not even saving anything. We're just importing everything, like just importing everything we use on the continent, we're importing. Just because some foolish politicians are making money from that, they're doing business importing those things. So they think they can become rich on the back of the poor citizens in our countries. Like, we gotta throw away these guys. These politicians are not doing well. They are not doing well on the continent. At least many of them, not all of them, but many of them are not doing well. We need to throw them out. See? So there are a lot of things for us to do. That's the primary level of economy. The secondary level, you're looking at manufacturing, you're looking at production, you're looking at building of factories and all that, right? Then you go to tertiary, where you look at the healthcare, you look at educational system, you look at the more advanced things, right? And then from tertiary, then you go to service sector, which is the quaternary, which is like looking like maybe like higher skills. You're looking at maybe intellectual, service and all that. So in which case, now you have the mixture of all of these, of course, in a country, and it doesn't have to be like you only focus on one at a time. But in this case, I mean, in Africa, for example, we've got to focus more on the primary level of economy. That's the point. Like, the primary should take more than 60% of our time, of our resources. Then maybe the secondary will take maybe 20%. Then maybe tertiary will take like 10%, and the quaternary will take like another 10%. Most of our focus should be on our primary level of economy. Yeah, that's the thing. We must produce food so much that we even start saving for the next 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Yes, some countries are already doing it. In fact, some have done it. That is what they call food security. Food security is not when you depend on somebody to survive, to live. That's not food security. Food security is like when you are independently producing your own food. Not only that, you have saved food for some time, like for many years to come. You see? So that if there's any emergency or any war or anything going on, you can still have, like, for the next couple of years, have food to survive. Like, really? Do we have that in Africa? I'm not sure. If not for just some few politicians or people who are privileged that can buy loads of food and pack in their house, how many people can afford that? Somebody that's not even eating food, that's not even eating food today, is that the one that is saying he's gonna save food for the next, even not even next 1 week, let alone say next one month or 1 year? Like, what? Like, really? I just think about this and I'm just like, man, like, who is thinking for us in Africa? Like, who has bewitched us, or who has done this to us? Because sometimes you can't even understand. Now, the point is, it's not as if some people are not working. It's not some people are not doing things. Like I talked about Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. The guy is really doing well, and there are many individuals and organizations that are doing well as well. So when I say all these things, I'm not saying like 100%, like it's what is happening all over the continent. There are people who are really doing well already. Individuals, organizations, partnerships, companies. There are people who are doing very well. I know that, I'm aware of that. But I'm saying that we have to spread it all out. Like, it has to spread all across the continent. Even though some people are doing well, but the majority of us are still not doing well. Exactly. At least based on our population, based on the percentage, majority are still not doing well. So we can't just rest on our laurels and say, oh, okay, yeah, but some people are doing well. Why are you talking about these things all the time? But many people are not doing well. Many are not doing well, as you're gonna say, you know, in this discussion. Many are not doing well. So while a privileged people enjoy luxury, you see, the majority are still struggling to meet their basic needs. We must prioritize survival, like facing our basic needs, instead of just imitating opulence and just doing like, oh, we are a rich continent. When some of these Persians, when they go to other countries and they go and be buying all these luxuries, they'll say, oh, Africans are rich people. Oh, their politicians are very rich. They have a lot of money. You see, the money that they have embezzled. They say like, oh, we are people who consume a lot, who buy a lot of expensive things, luxuries, buy yachts, buy private jets, buy expensive cars, buy all these things. Like, it's like these people are just dumb. They are just stupid, man. You're buying all these things. Who is gonna use them? Who is gonna use these things you're buying? I don't understand. Who is gonna use them? You say you're gonna use them. Your children are gonna use them for how many years? When you can actually use that money to help people, it's not as if you're not comfortable. When you can actually use that money to help other people, why are you being so stupid and so mad? Why are you just a consumer? We can't even add value to your society. What is this? The money that you embrace it doesn't even like you work for the money, because if you worked for the money, you will be diligent with spending the money, because we see people who are rich, people who are truly rich, they spend their money wisely. They don't spend their money extravagantly or just go and squander it. Of course, if you're a politician and then you embezzle money, or you, or you- or you're giving salary that is just exorbitantly high, how won't you just be going on a spending spree and be throwing money left, right, and center, and be doing like you're on top of the world when you didn't really work for it? Yes, you didn't work for it. Just throw the money at you. So yeah, they spend the money like a mad person, and then they think, oh, Africans, oh, they are just bunch of consumers. They have money. Then they persuade you, come and buy this, come and buy that, and then you buy all those things for nothing. Vanity upon vanity, frivolity upon frivolity, nonsense. Like, what is this madness? You've got to wake up. Because if you look at the continent, Africa still has the highest number of internally displaced people and the largest population living in extreme poverty. It's a known fact. Yet, paradoxically, we also possess one of the highest productivity potentials in the world. Like, we have the potentials to be the richest continent in the world. Like, and literally, we are. Looking at our resources, looking at both human and mineral, like, we are literally the richest continent in the world. Okay, now, potentially, because it hasn't physically manifested yet, so potentially yes, and we can see all the evidence to support that. But then we're not. It's like we are living in dystopia. We are living in the irony of where we're supposed to live. Can you imagine the continent that's supposed to be the richest now being the poorest? Like, the opposite end of what we're talking about. You see, so there needs to be lots of things that we're gonna change. There needs to be a lot of change. Africa, oh my God, we have the strongest youth population, the most fertile lands, and abundant natural resources. So why are we still stuck? What is holding us back? What is really happening on our continent? Like, what is really going on? I just wish some of these politicians just come out and tell us what is going on. Is it like they are being bewitched? Is it like this some foreign powers are controlling them and telling them what to do? And if they don't do it, they are threatening them, they're gonna kill them, they're gonna overthrow them, or like, they should just come out and tell us what we are dealing with, really. because sometimes you don't understand what is going on in the continent. But we must fight and we must keep talking about these things. Very important. It is rather disheartening to hear that some politicians are profiting from our insecurity. They are recruiting bandits and hooligans, and even some of these thugs and touts, they use them for elections, they use them for all kind of things to take away their rivals, exploiting chaos for ransom money and power. These wolves walk freely among us. We even hear it, some even talk about it. They'll be saying they will destabilize somebody's government, they will do this, they will still be saying it, like, and they're still there just walking freely. And we can't hold them to it, like tell them that what they are doing is evil in our society and they must be brought to justice. So they do all these things, they walk freely among us while the rest of us live in fear. We've begun to accept this oppression as our fate. But for how long? When we will rise and reclaim our destiny? We cannot solve a broken system with broken values. We need a cultural shift. We need a mindset shift. We change our mindset. It is time to move away from unproductive traditions and misplaced priorities while billions are poured into building churches and religious monuments. Our industries and factories lie abandoned, our youths are jobless, but our religious buildings are filled every day. This is a misplaced priority. I'm still going to talk a lot more about the problem with religious things. I've talked about that before. You can check some of my previous podcasts I discussed about the danger of silence, destroying the business of religion in Africa. I talked about that recently. And religion is a major thing too that we're going to talk about. Really, because it's also like affecting us a lot, and it has connection with the economic part. That's why I'm mentioning it now. But there's still gonna be a discussion on the religion itself and how it is directly involved in insecurity. How religion is playing a big role in insecurity on our continent. We will discuss that. But here we are looking more into how it's connected to the economic malfunction, to economic crisis that we're going through in Africa, right? So that's what we're gonna see. Billions are being poured into building our churches. Look at all these churches, all these big churches in Africa. In Nigeria, for example, where you have most of all these big churches. Look at how much billions they are pouring into building all these churches and religious monuments, while our industries and factories are abandoned. Right? Our youths are jobless, but our religious buildings are filled. They are filled every day. This is not right. This is a misplaced priority. There's madness in a society where hunger thrives. Yet, more altars are being built than farms. We've allowed ourselves to be bewitched by false doctrines, miracle money, supernatural favor, sudden alerts, while ignoring the work of our hands. While I'm not disputing supernatural favor or miracles or like testimonies, good things, I'm a Christian and I believe in all these things, because when you talk about this, people say, oh, maybe you're backsliding or you're an unbeliever or whatever they want to talk about. But here is something very important that you must understand. Abuse of anything is not good. I've talked about that before in my podcast. When you abuse anything, that is just not good. It's not going to help. In fact, it's going to have opposite effect of what it's supposed to have. If it's benefiting you, it's not going to start having the negative effect. Look at water that you drink. Ordinary water that you drink can kill you if that is in excess, if it's abused. Exactly. So that is what is going on now in Africa. We are abusing every spiritual thing. I'm telling you, that is the problem we have now in Africa. We are abusing every spiritual thing. We don't understand spirituality again at all in Africa. It is all madness and religiosity. We are not spiritual anymore. At least the most people. I'm not saying all people, but most people are not spiritual. Even some of these religious leaders. It's just all madness, all money, miracle money, spiritual favor, supernatural favor, and sudden alert. Like what nonsense are you talking about? You're not teaching people how to be productive. You're not teaching people how to make money, like real money. What you're teaching them is supernatural money, miracle money. What madness? Even if they're gonna receive miracle money, are you gonna be talking that as what you're capitalizing on when you're supposed to let them focus on more important things? You see, I don't know. We've abused all these things because faith without action is dead. God has not mocked us. We have mocked him with our foolishness. Exactly. We are the one being foolish with all these things we're doing because God is not mocked. God is not mocked. So when we say, oh, this is your year of favor, this is your month of blessing, this is your month of supernatural miracles, you receive those blessings, you make those confessions. That is good. I'm not saying you should not decree or make those confessions or receive prayers on those things, but we should focus on doing our responsibility. We should focus on doing what we're supposed to do. We should know the place of everything, the place of the spiritual principles and the place of economic principles, the place of physical principles. We must understand that everything has done part. Like as you're here, as you're living here on earth now, are you gonna say spiritual food is gonna feed your stomach? Like, are you gonna say spiritual food is gonna feed your stomach, even though you need spiritual food for your spirit, but you also need physical food for your body? You see that? So if you say, oh, you have so much faith that your faith can feed your stomach, and I don't just mean like just for few hours or few days, I mean for the rest of your life, is that possible? But that's not possible. So why are you denying physical principles? Why are you denying physical facts? Why are you like all being religious? You think you're spiritual, but that's not spirituality, that's stupidity. You're not being spiritual because everything has its own principles. So, but we just mixed everything up. We've just mixed everything up. We mix spirituality with religiosity. We mix religiosity with just talk nonsense, all these kind of things. The other time I was hearing somebody, one pastor was talking about, oh, people should come and sow seed. People should come and give God tithe of 50 million, 100 million. Oh, you saw somebody who was giving tithe of 100 million, 200 million. Okay, you saw somebody who was giving tithe of 200 million. Okay. Did you ask that person what they are doing? Did you find out the business the person is doing? Okay, did you actually ask the person how they got that money so that you can use that principle to teach other people? Or all you care about is just the money that they have brought to the church to pay their tithe. You didn't care about how they got the money that you can teach other people. Like, and he was saying that, like, boasting about that, like, some people are already paying 200 million as their tithe, so you are just paying 5 naira, as your tithe. You just pay 100 naira. You better wake up and come and start paying big money as your tithe. And people will hear those things and it will bring them down. It will just draw down their morale and make them feel like useless, make them feel worthless, make them feel like they are nothing. What you're supposed to do is to actually ask the person who brought that big tithe. That is your responsibility, to ask the person, what do they do, what business do they do. Ask about how they made the money, and then if it's something genuine, if it's something true, then teach other people how to make that money. Exactly. Why must you be after the money and not even how the person got the money? You see, you should be more focused about how the person got the money so that you can use that same principle to teach other people, which is going to help them to make the same money and then come and pay the tithe. So if you're just focusing on them bringing the money and not really focusing on how they got the money, because that is where the corruption and all the evil is going on in Africa. Because these pastors just focus on you bringing money, bringing big tithes, bringing come and sow big seed. You're asking them to bring all these things, but then you're not finding out how they made the money, what they're doing to make this money. Because some of them also know that many of these guys also made the money through crooked ways. They go do nasty things to make this money, and then they come and give the church the money. Then they say, "Oh, God has blessed me. Oh, I'm now prosperous. I'm now rich." What is stupid rich are you talking about? This is not even something that you can even be proud of. You see? So that is what we must understand, that if we want to have true prosperity and true abundance, as many of these guys preach about, we should rather focus on learning the principles that work. Learning principles that work, what really make things work. When you find somebody who is having results, go ask them how they are having the results, and use that principle to teach other people so that they can have the same results. So following the principles of what works, of what really works, and not just caring about the results, saying, "Oh, the end justify the means. The end justify the means. Just make the money. We don't care. Just go and make the money." How do you mean just go and make the money? You don't care how I make the money. I should just go and make the money. Really? So if I'm a kidnapper, and then, like I mentioned, see how much kidnapping is bringing to people. It's a big business now. You kidnap and then you make 200 billion. I want you pay tithe of 200 million. You see that? Or you go and sell drugs, get into drugs and make big money, and then come and sow seed. Of course, you are rich, and pastor is happy with you. What a madness is going on this continent. What is going on with our people, really? What is this madness? We are not adding value. We're just bunch of criminals. We're just doing rubbish, nasty things in the name of like the end justifies the means. And then you want to say, okay, but what else do you want me to do if I'm not doing all these things? But have you ever opened your eyes to see that there are many opportunities of what you can do? That you can truly add value to people and still make money. That you can truly do something valuable with your life and create a good legacy for your children and children, rather than just being stupid and just thinking about being short-sighted, just making casual money, and then you won't even know whether somebody one day you'll be caught, and that's the end of your life. You see? So you better focus on what is going to have a long-lasting effect, what is going to create a better future for you and your generation and your children, and not just about what is going to give you the immediate benefits, the immediate gratification, which is what many of our people are doing. Many of our youths are doing that. They're doing that, just quick money, just go and make money anyhow. Go and rob, go and do robbery, go and do drugs, go and anything, just go and do anything. Just go and bring money. Go and bring money. Like, what is this? What is this madness with money, really? What is this? We are creative people. We are productive people. Why can't we invest our strength, ideas, creativity into something more productive for our continent, for the world, for a generation, rather than just being short-sighted? That is what we need to work on, and that is what these pastors supposed to be doing, not just to be encouraging criminality in our society, on our continent, and be boasting about somebody who paid tithe of 200 billion, tithe of 100 trillion, like just be talking about millions, billions, like you just go and get it at your backyard. Like, seriously, no, not talking about values anymore. It's just all about money. So we must wake up from this stupidity and this madness. We must wake up. We need to sit down and reflect on our lives. People neglect their businesses but are quick to sow seeds in churches. They ignore their factories but pour their last money into religious offerings. This is not faith. This is ignorance. Africa needs to wake up. We need to rise before things spiral completely out of control. Yes, religion has a role in our society, but when it starts to paralyze productivity and blind people from reality, then we must question it. Statistics clearly show a correlation between excessive religiosity and poverty. Highly religious nations often rank among the poorest because they have confused religiosity with spirituality. Exactly. I've talked about that. See, we just mess things up. Oh, when you're attending service every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just being religious, and no, it doesn't make you a spiritual person. Spirituality is way different from religiosity. You can be spiritual and not religious. You see, and you can be religious and not spiritual. So they are two different things. But what's the correlation? The correlation is you can be spiritual and then you can be religious, but then when you're spiritual, you do your religious activities with understanding. You see, but when you're just religious without being spiritual, you do your religious thing without understanding. You see that? So that is the thing. Yeah, we can be religious, but let's not be religiously dumb. Like some people are just religiously dumb and they're not even spiritual. Spirituality is the most important thing because that's what really connects you with God, because God is spirit. So God is not religious, but God is spiritual. You see that? So if you are just religious and you're not spiritual, you are not connecting to God. So you just have to be spiritual before you can connect to God. So spirituality is an important thing. So most times we confuse the two and then we just make those things up, right? But we must come to understand what spirituality really means. Now, as Africans, like I've talked about in my blogs and many of my podcasts, that as Africans, we are spiritual people. Of course, we are, and we got to be aware of that. Yes, but spirituality must not be an excuse for idleness and mediocrity. God does not reward laziness. He doesn't reward laziness, and we cannot pray our way into prosperity while neglecting the land, the factory, and the marketplace. We must wake up and resist the evil plaguing our land: bad roads, food shortages, inflation, insecurity, corruption. They are real problems that require real solutions. If we want to end insecurity, we must revitalize our economy. Yeah, that is the main thing we're talking about, our economy, because that's how it's all connected to all these religious things. Because if religion is taking our attention away from we being economically productive, then we must address the religious thing. That's why we're talking about it in this discussion, because we're still going to have the religious one where we talk about how religion is directly affecting insecurity. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, like I mentioned before. Yeah, but yeah, we're just looking more about economy and how we're misplacing our priorities, and just instead of being economically productive, just doing all sort of like religious jamboree. We must invest in our people, in our productivity, and in our future. Africa's greatness is not a myth, it is a mission. Our future is not a dream, it is a decision. The time to rise is now. The change we seek will not come from outside, it must begin with us. From the farms to the factories, from the schools to the streets, let us build a new Africa, bold, productive, and secure. Let us awaken the sleeping giants. Let us fight not with weapons, but with wisdom, work, and will. Our time is now. I see greatness rising in Africa. Cheers. Read next why we should invest in our people. You can watch this program on YouTube. If you found value in this post, kindly share with others. Thanks for your support. I'm going to appreciate that if you just take a moment and you share this podcast with somebody or with your family and friends. Very important. Let's spread the word. Let people know about these things that are going on our continent, how we can solve our problem, our security problem, and some of the challenges that we're going through as a continent and as a people. PS, in case you want to, feel free to reach out to me if you need advice on your plans and ideas and how to work on your gift and purpose. Drop me a message here or email me at soprinceofgod@gmail.com and we arrange a call. Would you like to write a book? Share your story, ideas, and knowledge in a book. Now it's easier than ever. In 3 weeks, your book will be written and published. Send a message to bookminds247@gmail.com. Get books here. You can check, click on the link on my blog. Yeah, it's gonna show you, take you to the seller website where you can get some of our books. You can also get some of our books also on Amazon.com as well. Check out our website, Wordflick Publishers. If you want customized songs for you or your loved ones on their birthdays, weddings, or any ceremony, is a music got to you? Contact us at soprinceofgod@gmail.com. You can also check out this post. Number 1, Move Africa. Number 2, The Danger of Silence, Africa Youth Must Rise. Number 3, Democracy is Calm in Africa, Here is What Works. Number 4, A Wake-Up Call to All Africans and People of African Descent. Number 5, Engaging the Power of Prayer. Yeah, alright, so those are the posts, the articles that you can check out. Kindly drop your comments here, like and subscribe for more. Thanks for listening. I know it's been a long podcast. Yeah, it's very important that we discuss all these things. Very important because these are like very serious issues going on our continent and we got to address them. So please share. Thanks so much for listening and bye for now.